Here we go. Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 42 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Philadelphia Flyers here tonight in what was a tight one, an ugly one. We'll break it all down. 3-2 victory for this Maple Leafs team, moving them to 27-13-2. And not only that, but tying them atop not the division, the conference. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Tying them atop the conference, the Washington Capitals, 56 points each. Now, obviously, the Maple Leafs have 42 games played. The Capitals have 40. But regardless, tied for the lead in the conference here. Leading the Atlantic Division. It has been quite the start to the season for the Maple Leafs. And interestingly enough, it feels like they're not really tapped into their best hockey. They had a long stretch of it that they talked about, or that we talked about here on the post-game show, that we talked about on the morning take show for a while there, where they continued to build up, and all of a sudden they hit their stride. Matthews went out and they were rolling. They were able to build it and carry it over and over and over again, and then it lulled off basically from there. And we've all kind of thought, hey, it's just a small period of time, but we'll get ourselves back on track. Who knows how many wins, points, whatever they could have if they were even able to tighten some of this up. Goals for, or guys on this team, the point totals they might have been able to put up, if they were able to put up or be able to put complete efforts together in some of the spots. It's kind of unbelievable, really, to be sitting here just over, literally one game over the halfway point of this season, looking back at the previous 41 and saying, it doesn't feel like they've gone through 41, 42 games of unbelievable hockey, and yet at this point, they're sitting tied for first place in the Eastern Conference. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We'll get into a couple of things here on the show. We'll dig into what you guys are talking about in the chat. I want to make sure I answer your questions. I want to dig into a couple of key topics here tonight because one of them being the power play has started to boil over for me, and I know they scored on it, but really, I mean, I don't think anyone should be giving them a pass on that. The other would be where we're at with Ryan Reaves and not fighting here tonight. William Nylander, another slow game. Like, these are things we'll dig into, but we also do need to give props on the positive side. We'll get into all of it. We'll get into our best bet. We'll go to our play of the game, our grade of the game, all that kind of stuff before we finish off the show here tonight. And as we go through it, and as we continue to break things down, you guys know it already. It's a presentation of Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N, all caps, when you sign up today. Make sure to head on over to Bet365. So make sure to head on over there. The other thing that I wanted to bring up as well as we get the show off and running here is there's a couple of super chats which we will answer, and it's for a good cause. For those of you who are new here and wondering what the heck is going on, I will break it down. For those of you who have returned, well, you're well aware, but maybe you need a refresher. This season, we have an awesome event going on here, or awesome partner going on here on the show, and that would be our Super Chat charity partner this season, and that would be Sick Kids. If you send a Super Chat, proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, Canada's first children's hospital and a top research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and third in the world. It's just a very, very cool initiative that we're running and we're a part of here on the show. Super Chats have been a big part of my show for a long time. It's never something I have asked for or ever will ask for, obviously. It is something that if you guys want to send and you want questions answered or you have thoughts that you want read aloud, you send your Super Chats in, and you do that by doing the following. You click the $ within a live chat. The live chat must be visible. You select one of the following: a super sticker or a super chat. You select the amount by dragging the slider or typing the amount. You click buy, and then you send, and you follow the instructions. I will read them all out. As well, on top of that, we'll dig into it by playing an animation, answering your questions, all that kind of stuff, and more. And with that, we do have our first super chat of the night. So Sangnam says, thank you again for the super chat there, So Sangnam. So Sangnam says, this W was uglier than Celine Dion dancing to WAP. I don't think I've ever seen that myself, personally. I can't say that that's something I can really picture either. Regardless, if it's something that is in your head and sticking out to you and you're comparing the two and you think that's a fair comparison, okay, then fair enough. Thank you very much for the super chat there, So Sangnam. And yeah, as we'll continue to talk about here tonight on the show, it was an uglier game. It was an ugly win, but you found a way to win. And it's strange because at this point, it feels like a lot of the wins that this Leafs team is piling up over the last little while are ugly ones, which is very contrarian or contrary to what they've been in years past, where they've just gone in and played amazing and found ways to lose games, or gone in against teams that they should womp and still played like crap and lost games. And that's not happened this year. It's not happened. I don't even know. Sparklegeist, I'll still take a sleazy Queen and Spadina win over a loss. Queen and Spadina win over a loss. All right, fair enough. I mean, not too long ago, it was over there in that Queen and Spadina area, and I'm pretty sure I saw police having to drag a guy out of a taco shop, so fair enough. I get where you're coming from on that one. We do have another super chat here as well. Maxentius Decimus with the super chat. Thank you, Max. Our guy Max there with the super chat. Well, the U.S. or the Canadian Postal finally gets back in business, and Max is back in business in the chat. Maxentius says there with his super chat, Reaves missed an opportunity to be in lineup. No fight. Okay, let's start off hot with this. I am going to ask about this as well when I talk to Jeff as next, because this was the prime spot for a Ryan Reaves fight here tonight. I don't think it was like Garnet Hathaway did anything that was warranting retribution, and he needed to go out and be attacked and answer for what he did. Like, nothing like that. But if there was ever a night for Ryan Reaves to step up and have his first fight of the season, you would think that it would come in the second game against the Philadelphia Flyers in 2 days. It would come in the back-to-back following the game where Garnet Hathaway did unfortunately have a scary run-in with Jake McCabe, in which Jake McCabe gets Bambi-legged and have taken off the ice and doesn't play. 6 1/3, Zack, this isn't the WWF, okay. Then what is he doing here on this team? Seriously, what is he doing on this team? He is playing in the most limited minutes here. He is playing in sheltered minutes. Craig Berube is refusing to use him as much as he's using other forwards in this lineup. Looking at like the last game that he had played out of that against the Islanders, I believe he played like 5 minutes and 40 seconds or something along there. Tonight here, 6 minutes and 52 seconds for Ryan Reaves. The next least amount of minutes is Connor Dewar with 7 minutes and 23, who, by the way, did fight and sat in the penalty box here. Spent a bunch of time in the penalty box, having to sit in there, and still finished this game with almost 30 plus more seconds than Ryan Reaves tonight. He is just occupying a spot in the lineup. It's not like he's going out there and, I mean, he finishes with 4 hits, but outside of, like, knowing that he was going in this game and anticipating a fight, would you have noticed that Ryan Reaves was out there? Because I noticed Dewar was out there. I noticed David Kampf was out there. I noticed Lorentz and Pacioretty and Domi and everyone in the top 6. And while some people may make the argument here that, okay, yeah, you didn't notice him, a guy on your 4th line, that's fine. Again, you don't want your 4th line to just be going out there and taking time on ice and just occupying minutes. You want something productive in that period of time. It doesn't always have to be goals. It doesn't have to be scoring. But like, at some point here, that line has to be making an impact every time they go out there, whether it's swinging momentum, if it's being physically punishing, whatever it may be. You've got to find a way to do so. And I just don't see what it is that Ryan Reaves is doing right now. And this seemed like the spot of all spots for him to have his first fight 42 games into the season, and he didn't have it. I don't know if it's him choosing not to. I don't know if it's the coaching staff or whatever it may be. But it just seems strange that he hasn't fought since the preseason, and there's been a couple of times to do so. And to people here asking, or saying, well, you don't have to fight. That's not what the league is anymore, whatever. Okay. This game was ugly. It was a little bit sloppy, and you didn't start on time here tonight. You don't think there's some type of opportunity to step up and get involved and maybe try to give some momentum, some energy, some life to the team? Like, there was a perfect opportunity for that, and now I'm just kind of looking at this guy who's taking up 6 minutes of ice time, has a goal go in off of his stick, it looked like there, to open the scoring for the Flyers, because he's not able to get out and step in time. Again, I like Ryan Reaves. I just don't understand the purpose of him being in this lineup if he's not going to fight, if he's going to play 6.5 minutes a night. Like, those are the things that just get confusing, where it's like, what is he doing? He's just out there for 6 minutes for no fucking reason. Those are the thoughts on Ryan Reaves and where he's at on that, and the minutes that he's playing right now. So, interesting to go in and out of this lineup. Interesting to have him not fight Garnet Hathaway in a night that you would have basically envisioned it happening. And then it's like, guess what, everyone? There was a fight here tonight as well. And it was Connor Dewar. Don't understand how that just doesn't translate there. We've got another super chat here, so let's get to that. Super chat comes from Awaiting Absolution. Awaiting Absolution says, the last few minutes of defensive play against a good team would have ended up in a tie game. Not happy with the support in the D zone by the forwards. Clean that up, Leafs, before the playoffs, or lose again. Yeah, this was another one here tonight where defensively it didn't feel that strong from this group. It didn't feel like they were that tight. There was a couple of moments where the Flyers were just really able to open things up and kind of do whatever they would like. There was also some moments in transition where the team really broke down and allowed some prime opportunities. I look in the second period there's a miscommunication in the neutral zone by the Maple Leafs. They kind of all shift across to the wrong side of the ice, watching the puck as it's over at the Flyers blue line, and then it's Michkov who's burning up the wall on the other side, and it goes blue line to him streaking in the other way. He receives that pass on the fly, ends up heading in the zone and gets a good shot off. Nothing ends up happening on that specific shot, like it doesn't go in, but the puck rattles around to the corner, and then it ends up being David Kampf who takes a tripping penalty or a hooking penalty on Morgan Frost. Like, a bad play in the neutral zone, sloppy neutral zone play, not paying attention to where you are, your surroundings, and where the players are on the other team ends up kind of biting you in the ass, and you end up having to kill off a penalty in your own zone. Now, mind you got lucky here tonight because the Flyers were not at the peak of their performance offensively. And if they were, then yeah, again, you're probably right. They did get a little bit lucky. You have to be good to be lucky. You have to be lucky to be good. But some of these things you would like to tighten up. I was having a conversation this morning talking about this Leafs team, and the point was brought up to me that it was like, there's likely regression that's going to come to this Leafs team. Look at the past 42 now games, and how many games have you been in? How many times have you seen this team where we've come here after and said, that was a game you probably didn't deserve to win. You might have snuck that one out. Like, look at the deserve to win meter, and looking over at 31% for this Leafs team here tonight. You just got by. Like, you just got by on a win here. You did not deserve to win. The Flyers on the other side there had generated 4.45 expected goals, which obviously at that point, kudos to Joseph Woll, who was able to backstop this team and keep them in a tight one here when it could have gotten out of hand. The Leafs only generated 2.27. They scored 3. They scored higher than their expected goals on the night here. Like, just talking about this from flat out surface level stuff, there are issues with generation and how much they're giving up recently. But the point to the other side was, you're continuing to win these games, which is something you're not really used to. What happens if you start to get it together here? What happens if you start to piece together the offense and the defense tightens up? We haven't really seen both sides working in unison of the offense and the defense on the same night to make everything just this clean, tidy hockey. We've seen it maybe once or twice. It hasn't really spilled over to be the most consistent thing that we've seen out of this group this season, night in and night out. So that's kind of been a little bit frustrating. And this game against the Flyers team, like, this is probably a game in years past you typically end up actually finishing with, oh my God, did we just get goalied? Now, you didn't generate enough offensively here tonight, but Fedotov is one of the league's worst goalies. The Flyers are not getting goaltending. That JT goal, which is somewhere that I was going to go with later on, but like that power play goal, it's on the power play. It wasn't that great. And Fedotov is tucked up against the right side post. The defense goes to block it, and Tavares just goes the far side post and in. There are moments here where the team is getting better results than what they should be or what they deserve to be, and they're kind of looking through it. So kudos to them for doing so, but yes, another game here tonight where there was some sloppy play defensively, some bad reads, some bad transition, times in the offensive zone where they would let things get away from them. They wouldn't pay attention to guys breaking the zone. There were odd man rushes going the other way. There were some breakdowns here tonight by this team. I don't know if it was just being tired, if it was lackadaisical, if it was just kind of being caught up in, you're playing the same team twice. Maybe you're thinking that Reaves is going to fight. I don't know what it would have been. But regardless, yes, Jake McCabe, as Unknown points out, he was missed tonight. Some of the defensive presence was missed. And although McCabe is out, we can give the excuse of, well, it was Myers and Timmins and Benoit, whatever. And you had OEL, Tanev, and like, that's kind of it. You need to be better still. You want to clean these things up and not allow it to become a problem, because your structure and your system should allow you to overcome a lot of that stuff. And tonight, it was not really personnel. It was structural, and it was systemic, and it was coming from everyone involved. Forwards, defense, it didn't matter. Another super chat. Our friend Tammy in the chat there. Tammy, thank you. Tammy says, trying to spot Reaves out there is like trying to spot a UFO. Well, I mean, Reaves, more so from the minutes played. I notice him when he's out there because a lot of times he's like a step late to something, or you're looking and it's like, whoa, who had that giveaway? Oh, it was Reaves. Thank you for the super chat there, Tammy. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that, on Ryan Reaves. I saw people in the chat getting mad that we spent too much time talking about Ryan Reaves on a night we won. We have to talk about the win and not actually reacting to how you got to this point in a game that really wasn't that great. Another super chat. Super chat here from So Sangnam. So Sangnam says, and thank you, So Sangnam, for the super chat. He says, Holmberg has more fights than Revo this year. This is true. That is something that he does have in the regular season. He does have more fights than Ryan Reaves. Not something I thought I would be saying 42 games into the year. Not something I thought I would be saying. Let's talk about something else here. Again, on a little bit of a negative note. Unfortunately, I'm going to get flack from this, especially from those of you who in the chat who are a little bit more of maybe on the participation trophy side and just happy for, oh, a goal went in, and we're not really worried about process, which is something we've had happen here previously. I debated how I wanted to approach this one, and I put this off time and time again, and have guests, and we've tried to leave it out of the conversation because it's just getting annoying. But today is kind of like watching this was actually infuriating, especially the way they started in the first period there. This Leafs power play goes 1 for 4, and they score on the power play from John Tavares. He scores that goal. Good for him. It was a great shot. He beat Fedotov clean, like no diminishing what he did there. But that power play itself was utterly atrocious, especially in the first period. And if I was having this conversation in game 42, or we were having people on, or Morning Take was talking about it at some point, it is what it is. Like, if you have that conversation, there's lulls in the game. Like, there are lulls in the game that happen, or lulls in the season that happen with different aspects. Maybe your power play goes cold for a little bit. Your power play goes penalty kill, power play. These special teams, they can go cold. 5-on-5, anything can happen. Goalies, they can go cold. But for something to be cold for 42 fucking games into the season is utterly embarrassing when you have over $50 million on the power play. It is unacceptable and it's pathetic. You went through 14 minutes of the first period without a single goddamn shot on goal in an away barn against the Philadelphia Flyers with a goaltender in net who's barely been able to stop a beach ball all season. The guy's got a sunburn on his neck from the red light going off so much, and this team can't find a way to, not score, shoot the fucking puck on the net. You have Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, Mitch Marner out there, let alone Morgan Rielly, and you cannot find a way to get a puck on the net. I cannot understand, I cannot justify this, and I cannot pass this off anymore. This got to a point of utter, complete frustration in the first period, watching that unit go out there. I know we've joked about it, but quite honestly, at this point with these guys, like, if you had the option of declining the power play, I would do it every fucking time. You go 1 for 4 here tonight, and in that first period, the Philadelphia Flyers, I'm pretty sure it counted up to four decent opportunities on their penalty kill on the Leafs power play, in which, by the way, at that point, you had still only had 1 shot on goal, and you went through two power plays, 4 minutes of power play time. 4 minutes of power play time without getting a shot on goal with those $50 million of players out there. What are you doing? Is it the coach? Is it the system you're running? Is it the players who are on it? What is this? What is this power play? Because you can watch over and over and over again, or watch season in and season out, 3, 4, 5 game stretches where power play goes cold. 5 to 10 game stretches. Fuck, if it even gets that bad. It's fine if it extends to that. But this is so pathetic. Brandon the Don 33, I agree it's pretty bad lately, but let's not freak out. It's not bad lately. It's bad for 42 games. It's bad for 42 games. 6 1/3. Yep, 5-game win streak ran. LOL. Honestly, if you're happy with your fucking participation trophies, take it, hang it up on the fucking wall, and move on. And when they lose in the first round every single fucking year, and the power play finishes dead last in the playoffs, you're going to have nowhere to look except inwards, knowing, oh, I watched this all season long. We are watching something that becomes a problem every single postseason. Every year in the playoffs, they cannot find a way to score on the power play. They're okay, whatever. It's tough to score at 5-on-5. Here's the power play, and they fucking suck again. And it's the same shit. It's the same shit that we watched for 82 games. Perimeter, pass it around, pass, turnover, other way, team gets a chance. Pass, turnover, other team gets a chance. They're getting opportunities. They're getting momentum, and you're sitting around with your dick in your hand watching the other team put up shots on your goaltender on your power play. You're spending most of the time there. So while you're saying first in this 5-game win streak, that's great. The power play has sucked for 42 games. 42 games. And while it's great that you won, there are things that cannot be ignored anymore here that need to change, because this is not just a one-off or a small slump of the power play. This is 42 games of looking like shit and just getting by. Imagine how many points some of these guys would have. Imagine how productive these guys would be. Imagine how much easier some of these games would be if this team could find ways to capitalize on their power play. Because on the other side, and the special teams group that deserves praise is the penalty kill. Lights out. Unbelievable on the penalty kill. 4 for 4 here yet again tonight. Another perfect night for this PK group. Late in the game, you're killing off opportunities. You're killing off a Pacioretty one. You're killing off a hook on, or a trip on Michkov there through. Like, you are down 6-on-4. You've got net empty, and you are just no problem. Not giving up high danger opportunities. Sticks in lanes. Moving and rotating and taking away time and space. The job Lane Lambert has done on the defensive side of the special teams group with the penalty kill has been unbelievable, and is a massive reason, a massive factor for the team having some of the success it's had to get to this point in the season and to get to where they are in the standings. But again, when it comes to reading these comments in the chat from some of you guys, almost first in the conference and losing it, a bit crazy, 5-game win streak, oh, blah, blah. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning had the greatest season in NHL history. They lost in the first round in the most embarrassing way to the Columbus Blue Jackets. The regular season means fucking shit all of the points you get, the wins you have, or where you finish. It does not matter. It does not matter. And this team, of all teams, has shown that time and time again. It is the process. It is the process. Are you doing the right things? Vic and I talked about the defensive efforts that this group is installing night in and night out. What's allowing them to have some of the success. The goaltending that they've developed. The penalty kill that they've developed. Those things are all extremely positive things to watch with this group and watch them continue to build off of and get better every single night. And those are things that are just going to give you so many more opportunities when it comes to the playoff time. Having those be so much better is a much more comforting feeling. The thing that is concerning, again, is this power play that still stinks. This power play that still cannot generate. I don't know who it is, what it is. If you got to do something drastic at this point, then do it. because you're 42 games in, not 5, not 10. This is not just a small little slump here from this group. This is fucking awful for 42 games. LJ, your regular season power play counts this much? Not trying to argue just too hard on them, in my opinion. LJ, the point is that this is the same power play execution that you see every single year in the playoffs. Wouldn't you want to see them turn that around? Wouldn't you want to see them put things back in the right direction and at least look dangerous even if they're not scoring? Because right now, they're not just not scoring. They don't look dangerous. They don't spend most of their time in the offensive zone. Something needs to give here. Something needs to change. And it's not just, oh, the bounces will go our way. You're too far beyond that right now. Something is wrong with this. Something is wrong with that group. The coaching, the system, whatever. I don't even know at this point. It's just gone too far. And it's like, if you go into the playoffs with this, I guarantee, if you go in the playoffs with this group, you won't make it past the first round. Guarantee. If this is how your power play plays in the first round, you will not make it past the first round. No shot. You won't. You won't. So, had to get that out on the power play. It's starting to get to a point of absurdity here. Every time you look at the schedule, every time I look at the game reactions that we're doing, what number it is, what I'm reading it out and saying it at the start and saying game 41, 42 here now, looking, Thursday, 43. Knowing that and being like, wow, we've had the same feelings about the power play every single game until this point is pretty absurd. It's getting nuts with this group. Unknown, maybe they have a horrible power play, regular season power play, and a dynamite power play in the playoffs this year. Maybe. Maybe. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch them do the same thing that they do in the playoffs, knowing how bad they've been in years past and how much it's cost them. It's just reached a point of like, something's got to give. What else here tonight? Positives from this game here to run down to get to. Quite honestly, like, happy with the win. Happy to get another one here for this group. Like, 27, 13, and 2. 5 in a row now. You won 2 against the Islanders, 1 against the Bruins, 2 against the Flyers. That's great. I mean, since some people won't do it, like, you do have to look and realize, okay, the Bruins were a team you beat. That was a good win. That was a great game, a super exciting game. But then the Islanders, they are last in the Metro. They are 2 points above the Buffalo Sabres. You squeaked by them there. The Flyers are 2 points up on the Islanders. They are 4 points out of a playoff spot. Three points out. Are some of these that impressive, especially when we got by with wins or when we got by with some poor play in some of these wins? There is concern about some of the stuff. Like, these things need to be cleaned up. Needs to be cleaned up. It is great to get the win. But also, on top of this, throw this out there. Every time you guys watch, if you guys watch them, I know I do regularly, I go and watch the Leafs blueprints that they put out. How many times has Berube said, not the best game, but we got it done? We got a lot to work on. We can't do that again. We got it done. Clean that up. Let's not make this a habit, because you had a period of time earlier where it was just incredible game, incredible game, incredible game. Paul Zangari, good point. These are the teams they used to lose to. This is true. This is true. Okay. We got more super chats. Let's get to some of these. Super chat from Mike Fami. Laurent's better get an extension soon. He's been great. The power play is so bad because this team doesn't like to shoot the puck with the man up. Yeah, they do not like to shoot it. I don't know if it's just overthinking, if it's just trying to force feed stuff. I'm not sure at this point, but they do not like to shoot the puck. Mike Fami, though, Laurent's better get an extension soon. He's been great. I thought he was great here again tonight as well. I thought he looked pretty good. He gets an opportunity to jump up and join the third line there. Plays with Pacioretty and Domi. He had the breakaway off a little nifty pass through. I believe it was Bobby McMahon who fires that thing out into the neutral zone. He grabs it, comes down with it, goes in on the breakaway. Unfortunately, he could never really get the puck settled down for a good clean opportunity, but regardless, still gets in. He had speed here tonight. I mean, just looking at his game, looking at just even the box score and the numbers that were put up by Lorentz here tonight. He's got 2 shots on goal, finishes with 4 hits, walks away from this game, 18 shifts, 13 minutes of time on ice. It's not a bad night for him. No plus, no minus on this, comes out even. But, I mean, just looking at Lorentz's play, he's a guy who has kind of gotten buried onto the fourth line with Dewar and Kampf, who play together there until tonight, really, where Dewar was just all of a sudden electric factory. But other than that, he's playing with guys who are kind of, Jimmy VC vanilla. They're guys who are just out there. They're guys who are just kind of doing things, and Lorentz has been alongside them and has been a guy that I've enjoyed watching on that fourth line because I feel like he's energetic. I feel like every now and then he's got an opportunity to create some offense or a spurt of offense that all of a sudden shows. I like his game. I wonder what an extension would look like. I wonder what he would want to kind of explore. I wonder if he would want to wait until, the summer and free agency, and if he'd want to see what the market would kind of give him. But I've really liked Lorentz. I've liked the impact that he's made. I would like to make some improvements to the guys who are playing alongside of him. I don't know that David Kampf is maybe a necessity there in your fourth line anymore, especially if you're going to have a guy like Dewar who can play the defensive style of game, can obviously here play physical, can fight, whatever it may be. But David Kampf becomes then more vanilla than him. Then, the rankings between the three of them would just go from, maybe Connor Dewar is now Vanilla Bean and David Kampf is I don't know, like Chapman's in the box ice cream. Like maybe that's what he becomes. But you're looking at basically rankings of vanilla between Dewar, Kampf, and Holmberg. And right now, the most exciting one would be Connor Dewar. I don't know why you would need a combination of all three there in the bottom. You'd ideally like to have some kind of variations alongside Steven Lorentz, maybe a Connor Dewar, and then something else. And I think that really gives a spark to that fourth line. We do have 200 viewers here on the stream tonight. We've hit just over 50 likes here. Make sure to continue to like the stream, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube, whether you're watching on Twitter or you are watching on YouTube. Like, share, retweet, comment, let us know your thoughts. We've got some more super chats to get to here on the show tonight. We'll wrap it up with a couple of segments. We won't go too late. We've already been at it for 40 minutes here, and it is 11 o'clock. The 7:30 starts. Feel like there's been a lot of them. Also, this Leafs team has played a lot of games in a short period of time, I'm realizing. Don't get me wrong, I love doing the show, but every now and then I'm looking and I'm like, we're doing another, there's another game? Like, what's going on? I look at the schedule and I'm like, oh shit, there's Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It's a lot of games in a short period of time. All of a sudden, I'm turning around going, oh my God. But all the Leafs content, whether it's pregame videos, if it's Leafs morning take, or if it's Leafs Nation After Dark show, it's all happening right here on this channel. So make sure to subscribe. Easiest way to engage with us here in the chat, come up on the screen, whatever. It is on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. But thank you guys out all for hitting that like button. Thank you for subscribing. Let's get to 15,000 subscribers. That's the goal. That's the goal. Thanks for liking. There you go. Oi. All right. Keep liking. We got a couple more super chats to get to. But before we do, if you guys aren't aware, we've also got something amazing coming up here as part of the Leafs Nation, and that would be the Nation Vacation. We're taking it to Music City from March 20th to 23rd. We're packing our jerseys and heading to Nashville to watch Toronto take on Nashville in their own barn. We're talking honky-tonk action, or hockey action, honky-tonk vibes, and the kind of memories that only come when you roll deep with the Nation crew. Flight packages, we've got them. Prefer to handle your own travel. We've got non-flight options too. Whatever works for you. Just get yourself there because this is going to be electric. Spots are limited, so don't miss your chance to join the action. Book your trip now at nationgear.ca. That is nationgear.ca. Nashville awaits. We'll see you there. Make sure to book your trip now. Get in on the action before it is too late, as we already have spots filling up, some limited availability. So make sure to get yourself over to nationgear.ca if you want to join the boys on the Nation Vacation this year. All right, next super chat. So Sangnan says, try Stolarz on the point instead of Riley when Wall is in. 2 goalies on the ice is better than 1. Trust me, I know hockey can't be any worse than now. Well, thank you for the super chat there. So Sangnam. It probably would. It probably would be worse. Let's call it what it is. It probably would be worse. But thank you for the super chat regardless. Dinner Bell says the boys in Denver. Yes. Josh D. Savino. Zack, interested to hear your thoughts on Benoit. Feel like nobody ever talks about the dude, but man, he's solid. So, I will be honest. There was a point in time where I kind of just left it be, because last year, for basically the whole season, I was very impressed with the level of play of Simon Benoit. I was very shocked at who he was, his style of play, and not his style of play, but how well he adapted his style of play here in Toronto and was able to play it consistently, right? That physical brand of hockey where maybe every now and then you're going to take yourself out of the play or try to make some big hit or be getting involved in scrums and skirmishes constantly, especially here in Toronto, can be hard to maintain because you can kind of get yourself into the spotlight and then maybe it's a parade to the penalty box or whatever. Last year, he was unbelievable. This year, he comes into the season, and at the very beginning, it looked a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe he was trying to show himself off to the coach. Maybe he was trying to, prove what he could do, prove who he was. And then it kind of cleaned itself up. And then he kind of went into a lull again. And then over the last little while, I've been extremely impressed with him again. The reason I hadn't really talked about it when he was playing well was because I didn't want to jinx it. And then when he went back into the lull, I was like, I didn't talk about it when he went into the first lull. Maybe I'll let him be and we'll let him rock here because I'm not superstitious. I am a little stitious. I kind of wanted to avoid it if possible, not put my own personal jinx on Simon Benoit. But now here we are 42 games into the season. I want to give him the credit that's due. He's good. He's a cheaper 5'6" defenseman who plays a real physical game. He finishes checks. He takes away time and space. I look at the game the other night. Vic and I talked about it against the Flyers on Sunday night. He was already playing really well. And then he only built off of that when Jake McCabe went out. He takes on more responsibility. He takes on more minutes. He's in a little bit more of the spotlight, and he just elevated, excuse me, as I smack my mic, he just elevated his play. He looked really, really good and continued to build up, and he is kind of just looked great here again tonight. I thought Benoit had another pretty solid game. I thought he almost died when he went face first into the boards late in the third period there, but outside of that, good night from Simon Benoit. Great play lately from him. This is a guy who just finds a way to have active stick, wins battles. He's shown off a little bit of offensive ability here and some speed that he's been able to garner, but he's looked good. He's looked good. And for a guy under 5'6" who's making $2 million a year, there's not much more that you could ask for. The other guy that was pointed out there in the chat, I was not the biggest fan when he first came in. I think that playing alongside Morgan Riley was a little bit of a nightmare fuel for me. Just given like, okay, here's this guy that we don't know about and we're not sure who he is or what he could be, maybe as a fan base a little bit, in terms of playing in some top 4 minutes. And, oh, here you go. Here's Morgan Riley, who, yes, we all love Morgan Riley because he's a guy who's been here, but every now and then we don't love Morgan Riley's play. It scared the shit out of me that they were going to be partners. You know, Hawk and Paw came in, jumped in there right away with Morgan Riley. You're going to tell me that that was pretty? It wasn't. Philippe Myers found a way to adapt. He's looked pretty good, earns himself an extension here. I thought he was good again tonight. Another opportunity where Philippe Myers is going to have to take on some more responsibility with another guy, Jake McCabe, out. All of a sudden, you're elevated into this role where you've got to look at Myers. You've got to look at Benoit a little bit more because those guys are out. And another game where Philippe Myers looked pretty good to me here. Again, pretty good on the penalty kill. Well aware in the defensive zone for the most part there. He's not doing too much offensively, forcing plays, trying to skate with the puck when there's not room or that's not within his wheelhouse. And he's just kind of playing this smart, simple, clean hockey game that I have a lot of appreciation for right now. I think Philippe Myers has been pretty good over the last couple of games, and I think that he's also here now building himself into the right direction. So kudos to him. Carl DeCunha. No McCabe, no Stolars, and 70% Matthews, and we are complaining about a 5-game win streak. Typical Canadian mentality. I moved from Toronto to the U.S. 25 years ago because of this mentality. Because you wanted to go where people don't care about hockey? What? Come on, Carl. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? All right. Let's get to our final things, our final segments to close out the show here tonight. Let's get to, first and foremost, let's get to our play of the game. Play of the game for me is going to be the Matthew Knies tip. 3-game goal streak here now, 5 goals in 3 games. Starts it off coming off of that slump where he was kind of just begging the media to ask him about it because he wanted to get it out of the way and kind of address the elephant in the room and get out. And then scores, has it called off. Next game, 3 goals. And now he's just carrying it over, and it's really helping that line, who then now gets on the board here twice tonight. A nice tip. Again. An Austin Matthews goal from Marner there. Great night from those guys. Great night from the first line yet again. But it's Matthew Knies at the tip. He's been so unbelievable in that front. He has been a real presence that everyone has to be aware of every time he's on the ice. And the thing that does, which is kind of underrated or like something we just kind of forget about in all of this, is that it opens up space for Mitch Marner and for Austin Matthews because he's an offensive threat. He's a guy you have to worry about physically in front. He's not going to flop around. He's actually going to fight you back. And now all of a sudden you have to put time and effort and energy and focus into guarding and protecting against Matthew Knies in front of your net. He can tip. He can score. He can bang home rebounds. So when you've got a guy like that to complement your first line players in Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, Marner a premier playmaker, Austin Matthews a guy who can bury 70 goals in a single season, you cannot just focus in on Austin Matthews now because, oh, Mitch won't shoot it. He's only going to pass. Matthews is your scorer. And the other guy, you know, little 58, Michael Bunting, he's just going to flop around out there or whatever. No, now you have Matthew Knies, who's a power forward. He can move his boots. He can get to the front of the net. He can drive hard. He can win battles in the corners. As 6 1/3 has sent here 78 times in the fucking chat tonight. Knies was being praised and interviewed on ESPN Plus. Zack, whoop-de-doo. That's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, the guy has been unbelievable, and that goal here again tonight is a prime example of just a great play by the first line that gets capitalized by everyone being involved. And on top of that, the one thing that I wanted to throw out there, your defense shooting the puck. Like, how often have we now heard the conversation? It started with Craig Berube, and it's become picked up by the media everywhere and all radio shows and everyone talking about it, is being direct, putting pucks to the net and going to the front of the net. Draw one. Philippe Myers, quick pass across to Morgan Rielly. Shoots the puck through. There's traffic in front. Matthew Knies is standing there. Tip, goal. Yes, there's an element of luck. But he's going to the right place. He's doing the right things. He's winning battles. He's becoming a distraction. He's hard to handle. And it's proving it. Like, it's paying off, keeping him up there in that top 6. So, kudos to Matthew Knies. 5th goal in 3 games here now. Just an unbelievable stretch of games here from Matthew Knies. For those of you wondering also as well, or who have followed me from the very beginning, if you follow him, which I'm pretty sure a bunch of people probably do as well, you've asked, and I'm going to try to get him on here at some point as a special guest on the show. I just got, I don't even know. I just got a wedding invitation for the man himself, Josh. From the original Leaf show that we were doing way back in the day that got me into all of this. Kudos to him. Credit to him. You guys give claps in the chat there for Josh, for those of you who remember him. Just got a wedding invitation. Congratulations. All right. We do have another super chat here, so I'll get to that before we get to our last couple of things. Robert Smith. Roberts, thank you for the super chat. Robert says C+. Robert, you jumped the gun, guy, but thank you for the super chat regardless. And no comments about the kids here tonight, Robert? The heck? Yes, a bunch of you guys in the chat know who I'm talking about. Let's go to the X. Let's go to the next segment here of the night. Let's get to our best bets. Best Bet segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. All caps. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Thank you to Bet365 for sponsoring the show, sponsoring the segment. Let's keep this one short and sweet. What a mistake I made yet again. William Nylander, anytime goal here tonight. This one loses us another full unit, and that brings us to down 3.28 on the season. It's unfortunate because we are now, this is the longest stretch we've gone of losses. This is the most we've been down on the season, and we've now lost 8 in a row, and of the 8, I have bet on William Nylander anytime goal 4 times. And William Nylander has not scored in 8. So, yeah, that's a best bet segment. I don't have much else to add to it. I'm going to get people getting so upset if I, talk about how we didn't play well tonight because, we won 5 in a row and we're first in the conference. Oh, don't say bad things. We need to be all happy and sunshine and rainbows and kumbaya and hold each other's hands. We're not allowed to talk about bad things here, apparently. But we lost the best bet. It's unfortunate. Willie needs to step up his game. Let's leave it at that. Let's go to our grade of the game here tonight. You guys send yours in the chat. Robert Smith sent over the super chat there as well. Grade of the game. You send your grades in the chat. I want to see what you guys have. A bunch of people have sent theirs already. I think I'm going to go with a C on the night. Robert there obviously sent over a C plus for his grade. It seems like one of the more common grades there. Worm Castings B plus. We've got Tammy at a C plus, Billy T at a C, Mike Fammy at a C minus, Dave Bem at a C, Bornterra C minus, Martian Puck. I'm going to read all these because there's a wide range of grades here right now, and it's pretty interesting. Bornterra Farms C minus, 6 1/3 B, Darren McNeil A, Mike Batson D plus. What the hell is going on in the chat with the grades here right now? I'm going with a C. I'm sticking with that. You got out of here with the win. I think that's great, but I'm not willing to give you an excuse of travel. I'm not willing to give you an excuse of being tired. The Leafs have played this many games. Guess who else has? The vast majority of the NHL. Look over at the standings. See how many games everyone else has played. Leafs, 42. Panthers, 41. Boston, 43. We're not on an island with the amount of games that we played. And oh, by the way, hockey fans, those teams all started at the same time of the year as well. So we're all racking up the same amount of games. They don't get that pass. They don't get that. What they do get credit for is finding a way to win a game in a game that you did not deserve to. You do get credit for being 31% on the deserve to win meter. A game, yet again, you did not deserve to win. You found a way to win. Good teams find ways to win. You did here tonight. Kudos to you. But the actual play did not play very well. Your penalty kill did. Your goalie did. You didn't generate a lot of opportunities. You got 3 goals. You only had 2.7 or 2.27 expected goals here tonight on the night. There's a lot of improvement that needs to come away from this game. Not a lot that we could kind of look at and go, ooh, yep, let's build off that. That was awesome. Penalty kill, for sure. Give them that. Penalty kill was 4 for 4. Great night. Power play, again, 1 for 4. Don't think it was very good, but 1 for 4. And then just looking at, the penalties that happened late. Would rather that not be the case, especially on a night where you weren't that tight defensively. So a few things that need to be cleaned up from this game. But you walk away with the win. I'll give it a C. It was on the road, and you could have been down and out early, and you found ways to keep fighting back, and you did. Tied it. You won it. Can't take that away. You win 3-2 here tonight, game 42 of the regular season. Matthew Nye's on the board again. Austin Matthews with another goal. Joseph Wall, an outstanding game from him. He finishes this one here as well tonight with a .938 save percentage, making 30 saves on 32 shots. So kudos to Joseph Wall for giving this team an opportunity here tonight. That's all for me. That is all for tonight's show. I will be back on Thursday for another game preview. And not just that, but another Leafs Nation after dark following the game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Another road game against Carolina. 7:30 puck drop then as well. We'll see you all here following that game for another edition of Leafs Nation after dark on Thursday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.